Experiencing great food is one of the best things about visiting a new city. But how can you be sure that you find the real gems?
Good afternoon, ladies. Is everything all right?
I'm Fred Siriex,
You enjoy your desserts?
and I've been working in the restaurant business for over 30 years.
I'm a seasoned professional, and even for me, it's difficult to find amazing places to eat.
So I've asked some of Britain's most celebrated foodies to open up their little black books and take me to their all-time favorite places to eat.
What a spot.
It is.
That's your schnitzel virginity over.
But we won't just be eating. We'll be meeting the people behind the scenes.
I have never ever been in a kitchen as noisy as this. This is a world record.
And rolling up our sleeves to find out how they deliver the ultimate dining experience.
What a smile.
I know.
I'm just under the charm.
World-class food
Oh la la.
and a meal you'll never forget.
Wow, what is this?
It's a work of art. There's nothing to say. He's just as perfect as he gets.
This week, I'm heading to Vienna to explore one of Europe's less well-known food scenes. And I'm delighted to have dessert devotee and best-selling food writer Rachel Khoo as my guide.
I love Vienna, partly because I'm half Austrian. I really feel connected to this beautiful, elegant city. People come to Vienna for the culture, you know, the beautiful architecture, but it also has a really exciting food scene. There are lots of places I want to take Fred, which will really surprise him.
Austria's capital, Vienna, lies in the northeastern corner of the country, between the foothills of the Alps and the Carpathian Mountains. Split into 23 distinct districts, it sits along the banks of the river Danube. The city was once the powerhouse of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which spread over a large part of Europe. Its cuisine has been shaped by neighboring countries like Hungary and northern Italy that were once under its rule. We are starting our food journey in the historic first district at the heart of the city, with its crown museums, baroque buildings and ancient cobble streets.
I'm so excited. I've never been to Vienna. Wow, look at that. It's like we are transported back in time.
Welcome to Vienna.
I can name-check Viennese composers like Strauss and Schubert, but the city's food scene is a mystery to me.
I have to admit it to you, I don't know much about Viennese food. I mean, all I know really is coffee and cakes. When I think about Vienna, I think about the culture, this heritage that you have, the history, and I really don't know what to expect.
There is so much to Austrian food. There's real comfort, hearty food, but there's also something happening in Vienna which is super exciting. You know, there's a real dynamic, fresh food scene which could rival any city in the world, even Paris.
Rival Paris.
Yes.
This is a bold claim.
First, Rachel wants me to experience something quintessentially Viennese. So she's brought me to Michaelisplatz, one of Vienna's most famous squares in the heart of the city. It sits opposite the Hofburg, once the seat of Vienna's imperial power.
All right, Fred, we are in for a treat. We are going to one of my most favorite places. You cannot come to Vienna without having a cup of coffee and a slice of cakes.
Well, I'm French, and I love pastries.
This area is the epicenter of this world-famous coffee house culture, a way of life in Vienna that has been recognized by UNESCO for its importance to Austrian cultural heritage. There are over 836 coffee houses to choose from, but Rachel's taking me to one of the most iconic.
So this place has been making cakes for over 200 years now. It is known not just in Vienna, but around the world for its traditional Austrian cakes. And look how beautiful it is. Well, you can feel the history.
But you know what? This street is so beautiful. Give me a 12.
Okay. Are we going to start waltzing?
Come on.
What do you like?
Let's have some cake.
Café Demel is a Viennese institution and its cakes are legendary. Founded in 1786, it became one of the appointed confectioners to the imperial and royal court during the Habsburg reign, a title it still uses today.
Thank you.
Pleasure. But look at this place.
I know,
Totally
it is
mesmerized.
really beautiful.
It really looks traditional and old.
It's so atmospheric here. It's like stepping back in time. There is an impressive Rococo-style foyer and an ornate salon complete with crystal chandeliers. But it's their famous cake display that steals the show.
Wow!
There's so many different types of cakes. Obviously, you have the classic, like the Apfelstrudel, the Sachertorte. We now have the difficult decision of deciding what to pick.
Look, I'm in your hands.
Of course, we can't come to Vienna and not have a piece of strudel. This is Apfelstrudel, the most classic. But
you
I
very
think
much.
it will have a few other things too.
All right.
Ganz gerne 2 kleine Sachertorte. Und dann noch sind eine Punschkrapfen.
Genau.
Apfel und Strudel. Und dann, das ist der Demel.
Die Anna-Torte.
Ja, genau.
Dankeschön.
Ja, danke.
You know, I love listening to German. It's such a romantic language.
What I love is it's an Austrian accent here.
I think it's very soft. No wonder you invented the waltz. Dankeschön.
You can perch at the bar to enjoy your cake, but for a more indulgent experience, Rachel's taking us to the luxurious salon.
When I come to Vienna, I always go to a coffee house. There is this culture of taking the time, having a cup of coffee, a piece of cake, and really lingering over that moment. And this tradition has been going on for centuries.
Historically, Viennese cafes were hotspots for aristocrats and the glitterati of the day, from Freud and Trotsky to Kafka, Beethoven, and even Mozart, who played music for dining guests in cafes across the city.
Vienna was the heart and centre of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire.
Yes.
So all the money, all the power, all the culture.
And the influences
Yeah.
from all these different nations.
Exactly. Now, I think we need to sort out the coffee, don't
All right.
we? Because with our slice of cake, we have to have some coffee.
I mean, this is a long list, isn't it?
What I love about the Viennese coffee menu is there is such a big variety of different coffees.
Just choosing your coffee is an experience here. There are over a dozen types to choose from, and all with baffling names. A coffee with milk is a mélange, and an espresso with whipped cream is a franciscano.
Are you ready to take your order?
Yes, please.
Ich nehme bitte ein Melange. Probably the most popular coffee to order is a melange.
It sounds very ooh la la.
Or you can have something with a little liqueur in it.
Right, then in this case, I'm going to have an Anna de Mel Café.
The orange liqueur?
Yeah.
Yes. And you just ordered your cakes already?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
thank you
I
very
will bring
much.
it. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Dankeschön.
Dankeschön.
Danke. Sitting in this room, you feel Vienna, what it was like back in the day. It's a beautiful place to sit.
It's very civilized and it connects you to the past. What's nice to see is the pride and the professionalism of people who are working here.
And the Anna Demel coffee. Welcome.
You see how prompt the service is, how quick that coffee was delivered.
The raspberry yogurt for you,
Yeah.
ma'am?
Just in the middle.
What a feast! These are some of my favourites.
And they look exquisite. There is a creamy yogurt cake topped with fresh raspberries. The cafe's signature Anna Torte, named after the original owner Anna Demel, with rich chocolate layers, orange liqueur, and nougat topping. And finally, the Austrian classic apple strudel, baked spice apple, rolled perfectly in a light, crispy pastry.
You can't come to Vienna and not have Apfelstrudel.
Wow, this is so delicate. All the flavors, they're so well integrated here.
The pastry is flaky, it is light. And that is something you only get when you actually hand make it.
I mean, I've had a strudel before, but it's never been as good as this one. That is for sure. This is so good.
Isn't it? I will have to have another bite. I'm not going to let you eat it all now. You want the raspberry?
Oh, yeah.
All right. In Austrian coffee houses, this is always a fruit or a berry option.
Oh, wow.
It's great, isn't it?
The balance of sugar is very, very good because it's very sweet, but it's not too sweet.
And you have a lovely bit of tartness coming through on the raspberries. You're really hoovering that up.
I told you I love cakes.
All right, chocolate now. This chocolate cake looks too perfect to eat, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
Shall we? The locals come here frequently to pick up a cake, and if you come here regularly, then you want something of the same high standard.
Of course.
So that means this place, they have to keep up this high standard. They can't just have an off day. And the Viennese are quite good at complaining, to put it politely. What's great is, for about 10 euros a head, you get a lovely cup of coffee, a big slice of cake, and a slice of Viennese history.
I mean, this is just an experience and a half. Café Daimel has given me a priceless insight into coffee house culture, and we'll be back to meet the team of pastry chefs producing some of the most exquisite cakes I've ever eaten. But it's not just traditional cafes offering a taste of Viennese life. Our next stop is off the beaten track. A modern restaurant locals flock to for its old-school charm.
Rachel, come on. I mean, look at this old tram.
Founded in 1865, Vienna's tram system is a throwback to the city's heyday. But it's still the easiest way to get around and is used by 900 million passengers a year.
Where are we going?
So we're heading out of the old part of town, the historical part, and we're going to the 4th district, which is where it's hip and happening.
2A, 59A.
In recent years, the once run-down 4th district has become a magnet for locals seeking out quirky new places to eat. In amongst the art galleries and bookshops is one of the coolest restaurants in town, with a huge following thanks to its authentic take on classic Austrian home cooking.
We're going to Steffi's, who is the queen of dumplings.
The queen of dumpling. I mean, my
Yes.
expectations are sky high now.
Well, this is comfort food at its best. So the Italians have pasta and the Austrians have dumplings. They come in all shapes and sizes, different flavors, sweet and savory.
Right.
And for me, when I grew up with my Austrian grandma, I would eat a lot of dumplings. So you're getting a little bit of flavor of that, you know, that true comfort, hearty Austrian cuisine. Really is like having a warm hug.
I need a hug because I am very cold, very, very cold.
Don't worry, you will be warmed up.
Good.
So we're here now.
What does this mean?
So So
Installationen.
it's actually an old plumbing shop.
Oh, that's why it doesn't look like a restaurant.
But trust me, it's going to be good.
I hope Rachel is right. A restaurant masquerading as a plumber's is a first for me, and I'm starving.
Wow, well, that's interesting. It's kind of homely, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely has that cozy kind of homely feel with all the different posters and knickknacks.
Yeah, it's kind of quirky as well.
Since she opened 7 years ago, Steffi's place has become a massive hit with locals looking for a big helping of comfort food. And when the Viennese go out, they don't want fancy. They are looking for what's known as Wiener Gemütlichkeit, an informal pleasantness or homeliness.
Steffi!
Coming.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, fine, thank you.
Enchanté.
Nice. Enchanté.
Let me just...
Yeah.
How are you? I'm Fred.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Fred.
you too.
Hello.
Hello, Rachel.
So good to see you.
Yes.
I'm absolutely delighted to bring Fred here because Steffi is the queen of dumplings. She knows how to make dumplings like my grandma used to make it.
Wow. HRH, the queen of dumplings.
Yes, little curtsy.
Your Highness.
Steffi's 55-seat eatery is always booked up in advance, so we're here in the calm before the storm to find out what goes into making those dumplings, or knödel in Austrian, such a success. They are the best seller and made fresh just before opening, so we've got our work cut out.
We have 1 hour to serve it. Let's. So,
Okay.
shall we start? You
Okay.
stay here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring the ingredients.
So what are we making?
Spinatknödel.
Are these one of your popular dumplings?
Definitely. And it's
Okay.
really nice because it's a vegetarian dish and it works as a main course. They have a substance, you know.
They're quite hearty.
Okay, I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
girls,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
about an hour before service, and you are yap. Schnell.
Yeah, we've
I will
got
have
bread here, spinach.
Yeah. Then we need eggs. We need cream,
Yeah.
double cream.
Yeah.
This is not for the faint-hearted. It's not something you're going to eat if you're on a diet.
Listen, it's very cold out there, so we need the energy.
Yeah,
And many people would actually make it with milk, but the recipe, according to my mom, is with cream. So
If your mum says so, I think what's unique about this place is the feeling that it's almost like in being invited home to dinner. You're being invited into somebody's front room. It's very relaxed. Also, the food, it tastes like home-cooked food.
So is it why the Viennese come? Because it's about the memory.
Yeah, and I wanted to create something where people can come either alone or with their family or as a group, and I give them a feeling a bit of like a mother taking care of them.
Like many staple Austrian dishes, the Knödel recipe originates in the former Austro-Hungarian Empire.
So you crack a couple of eggs while I move a ton of bread.
We are doing bread dumplings today because this is more like Viennese. So
Right.
at the emperor's time, there's a semmel, the Viennese roll, and it was quite something expensive, you know. When it got dry, people didn't want to throw it away. So
Right.
they started to make another dish out of it. And so this is how the Semmelknödel was invented.
This was like a poor people's food.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
pressing too hard yet, because what we want is that we keep the crumbs,
Right.
the form of it, and we always press at the end when we roll them.
Okay.
You can be hired for knödel making now.
Yeah.
Okay, should we roll?
Shall we? Yes, exactly. What I really need you to do is to roll them in the same size.
It helps to have wet hands because then it doesn't stick, does it?
Oh, you are
Exactly.
actually taking part now.
You just be quiet. Start working.
Oh,
You
amazing.
talk too much.
And the next thing is I want them to be all big this size. Yeah, this is where we want to go to.
Oh, well, you're not bad at making these dumplings.
Oh,
There
well,
you
thank
go.
you.
Mine is a bit bigger than yours.
Well, okay, this one is a little too big. I think,
Ah,
I think Fred is very hungry.
I love that even the simplest of foods still have to be done with a high level of precision.
Well, look, they look pretty good.
Amazing.
Yes.
Very good. But you know what? We've done 20 and a half portions. This is the half portion.
Wow.
That's the little taster for the chef.
The dumplings are cooked in boiling water. Then there is just one more Viennese touch before they are ready to serve.
So this is a brown butter sauce, and I think
Yes.
this just adds that little
This
extra.
is very rich.
No.
No, oh no.
Put the parmesan on top.
I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, look at that. I mean, I'm very impressed. I can't wait to eat them.
In the run-up to service, Steffi lets her kitchen team take over, freeing her up to focus on front of the house.
Yeah, I'm everywhere where the help is needed. I try to do, to share my passion, though, we make people happy with our food.
It's not even 6 o'clock and the place is absolutely packed.
I already saw Steffi turn a few people away.
I'm looking forward to the dumplings, but I think people come here as much for Steffi's personal touch as for the food.
What I love about Steffi is not just what she cooks, but it's also how she cooks. She really cooks from her heart. I love this menu. I mean, it's handwritten. It's Steffi all over.
She was in the kitchen before with us. She was telling a kitchen team what to do. She was on the front there, taking part in the service, greeting guests at the door. I mean, she's really everywhere. I'm enjoying this. I find it very relaxing.
That's what it's supposed to be like here. It's supposed to feel like a home from home.
I feel like an Austrian right now.
Well, you got your beer.
I got my beer.
I don't know if you blend in with your shirt, though.
Well, you need a little bit of color in life.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Here they are.
Look at
my
these.
Mighty Spinatkörbe.
Danke.
Dankeschön.
Our handmade spinach dumplings, drizzled with brown butter and parmesan, our hearty meal, and for just over £10, it feels like a real bargain.
Oh, look at this work of art.
I know, and can you smell the butter? The backbone of this dish is that comfort food.
And you know what I'm doing? I'm rolling the dumplings into the butter.
My grandma used to say, whenever my mum or my aunt used to make something, she's like, there was never enough butter.
I am surprised by how light it is. I thought it was going to be quite heavy. You put it in your mouth and poof, it's just disappeared.
I never thought a simple dumpling could be so elegant.
And yet you are eating a bowl of bread here. But these dumplings, God, I mean, this is fit for kings, isn't it? Steph, es ist sehr gut.
Great.
Ich liebe dich. You know, it's quite extraordinary. I think something just happened here. And I think today, right now, I've created a new memory. Just thinking about all the different components and how this place generally makes me feel.
I think I'm starting to understand the concept of Wiener Gemütlichkeit.
I feel very relaxed, very at home. I feel completely immersed in the Austrian culture.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this place. You feel like, well, I could be a local.
There's no pretension at all. I love that. Cheers.
Cheers.
What a great meal.
It was delicious. We'll be rolling home like a dumpling soon.
Creating a perfect atmosphere seems to be an important part of eating out in Vienna. At Café Daimel, they've preserved the traditional coffee house culture that has been around for centuries. And we are back to meet the pastry team to discover how they continue to produce the cakes that have given them their fantastic reputation.
I can't wait to get cooking and learn how to make the strudel.
Me neither.
After you.
Thank you. Wow, it's a rather grand staff entrance.
It is indeed.
They are the bakers of royalty. So in a city where every cafe sells apple strudel, what makes theirs a cut above? When you're joining the team somewhere as special as this, an impeccable uniform is essential.
You look like you're ready for some work. What was that again?
Oui, chef.
A pastry job here is one of the most coveted in the city, and the team is overseen by head pastry chef Elena.
Welcome to our kitchen.
You bake everything fresh here on site.
Yes.
It smells amazing.
We are open every day in the year, and every day we're producing everything fresh.
The bakery employs a team of 24 people. Their job is to make sure the cafe's celebrated offerings are never less than perfect.
I mean, the cakes were divine.
I can see that there's so much pride here. I mean, just the way we are dressed. I mean, look at that uniform. I mean, we really look the part. We are like special SAS Secret Service, aren't we? How do you wear the hat? Everybody's wearing it in a
I
different
think
way.
you can express your emotional, like today I'm feeling like yes, and you're feeling like, oh, I'm a bit mischievous today.
No, I'm feeling rather cool.
Are you feeling cool?
Yeah.
So the beautiful cakes are out on display, and a lot of them I recognise, no. Do you use the traditional recipes?
We are using all the old traditional recipes, nearly 200 years old, some recipes.
They have honed their art over centuries and produce over 60 different types of cakes, many originally devised for members of the royal family. So it's a real slice of Vienna's imperial past.
And that's a huge undertaking.
We have to make sure every cake that's going outside is perfect.
How do you learn all these cakes?
Well, it takes time, sure.
I want to learn all your secrets.
I can't believe what I'm seeing. At every station, there is someone creating something beautiful.
Bringing back memories of working in the kitchen.
It surely does.
To maintain their impeccable standards, each team member is a specialist in one part of the cake-making process, from mixing the dough, to cutting the shapes, to adding the icing. And everything here is made by hand.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Adrian is their expert in making the perfect cake batter.
Why is it done by hand?
Oh, because you have more feelings with your hands than machines don't feel.
So it's about touching the paste and making sure that it's
Yeah.
the right consistency.
Exactly.
Can I give you a hand?
Yeah, of course.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah. So are you throwing the flour?
Yeah, okay. This mix is so light, and you just don't know how light until you put your hand in it. The way I mix is okay.
Yeah.
It's getting harder, because obviously there's a lot of flour now, and I have to use my muscles. You know, when you do it by hand like that, you actually get the quality. I mean, there's no secret here.
On the other side of the bakery, Rachel's with Anna, who spent 6 years perfecting her icing and decorating skills.
I can see the way you're doing the finish there. It is super neat, you know, there's no mistakes. And your station is so tidy.
Everything should be perfect.
Is there a bit of time pressure?
I plan every day depending on how many people I have to help me. So everything is like just in time.
Okay.
Anna hand finishes each cake individually, and they all have to be uniform. Trust me, it's harder than it looks.
Oh, wow. And you just do it with one hand like that? Oh my goodness, I feel the pressure now. All right, yeah.
Then just as it comes,
Okay, this is awful.
if you just do it for 6 years, we'll do it perfectly.
I got the hang of it at the end.
Yeah.
Café Daimel is famous for all its cakes, but apple strudel is a national dish and the best seller. So the pressure to deliver excellence every time falls on Daimel's master of strudel, Leah.
I've heard you are the person who knows how to make strudel.
And I do it every day with passion.
This is my very first time making strudel.
Yeah.
They serve up to 450 slices a day here, and each one has to be flawless. The first step is to lay out a cotton sheet.
Now we roll out the dough on the machine first,
Okay.
and then by hand.
Some countries use puff pastry, but in Austria the tradition is filo, the same pastry used in Middle Eastern desserts like baklava. And pulling this delicate dough is an art.
Don't overdo it now with the flour.
Like many Austrian dishes, the iconic strudel is a fusion of different cultures. The thin strudel pastry comes from the Ottoman Empire and was brought here during the Turkish sieges in the 16th and 17th century.
Now we put it on the table. Then lift it up. And then flip it over.
Flip it over.
Yeah? Great.
The consistency of this dough is incredible, isn't it?
It's like silk.
One of the emperor's cook back in the day said that you should be able to read a love letter through the dough.
A love letter. Maybe we'll try with the newspaper.
I heard if you can stretch this dough out without making a hole, you're ready to get married.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at that.
And with such ease.
It's like she's waltzing with the dough. This is beautiful. Leah, this is a work of art. I mean, look how thin it is.
Let's have a check if it's thin enough.
I mean, this is so thin, it's so fragile. I mean,
What does it say? Fred is not gonna...
Yeah, Fred. It is such a skill. And you see the way she uses her hands.
you just have to know your limits, and I just know my limits here. I feel like an elephant in a china shop. To watch somebody master a skill like this is a thing of pure beauty.
And this is a skill that is passed down from generation to generation, keeping traditions alive.
So my grandma would be very generous with the butter. It's essential to a good strudel. What the butter helps is like obviously the flavour, but also separating the layers of pastry and making them crispy.
And the next step is we put the filling on the dough.
Okay.
The filling is made with slices of apple, all exactly 2 millimeters thick to ensure they cook evenly. They are mixed with raisins, breadcrumbs, butter, caster sugar, cinnamon, and ground walnuts.
Let's pretend it's a strudel already.
Oh, so you want to compact the apples into a
Yeah.
strudel shape?
Oh! I made a hole in the strudel. Entschuldigung. So what we're doing here, we're molding this apple into a little wall, and then what we will do, we will cut it here, and we're gonna make 3 strudel. I mean, look at the quality of the wall of Leah. Look at that wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you think about this? Is it
Not that bad, but may I?
Yeah.
We need a little more length. Great. Now we cover the strudel with the dough.
Okay, we've got to work a bit faster because the dough's drying out.
Yeah. Right now, we are just about to roll a strudel. This is a very delicate operation, and it can only be done at once.
Lifting the sheet causes the filo to wrap repeatedly around the filling,
Okay, 3,
Also?
2, 1.
which is the secret to those crunchy layers of pastry.
I was so nervous.
Oh,
Wow,
beautiful.
I feel so proud. And normally you do that by yourself. You are a master.
Baking paper lined sheet.
And it's rolled onto greaseproof paper to prevent any sticking in the final stages.
It's like a little baby.
Ah, right. So you're putting the cloth on top there, so
Yeah.
you're not gonna ruin the dough here.
All those little tricks.
Yes, but also, I mean, it's the know-how. And that has been passed on to you guys for 200, 300 years or more. It's like a slice of Austrian history.
That is true.
I don't think I will ever do it again. But if I do, I know what level I need to reach.
For a crunchy finish and shiny glaze, the strudel are given a generous coating of melted butter.
Cook well, little strudels.
There are up to 30 sweet treats on display here at any one time, and that requires a constant production line to keep up with demand.
So Tina, how often are you doing this?
Almost every single hour. You have to fuel up.
So you're selling the cakes as fast as you're making them, really?
Yes, exactly.
Smells so nice. Oh my God. Oh, this smells divine.
Time for our handcrafted efforts to take their pride of place in the display.
How's it going?
Here comes the strudel.
Yes, here comes the strudel. Here you are.
Looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Yes, a beautiful display, well done. You know, Rachel, I really enjoyed it. You know, I love the attention to detail, the pride and the professionalism of all the people who work here.
You know, when you come here, you really have that flavour of Vienna. You are experiencing something uniquely Viennese, and that's what is magical about this place.
The young staff here at Café Daimel are custodians of an incredible heritage, faithfully producing recipes that are centuries old.
And very civil.
It is. I mean, it's got this old school charm. Look at these beautiful streets. I love this city. Spring in my step.
You're doing a little Fred Astaire?
Yes.
Although Vienna's food culture is centered on its rich history and traditions, there is an exciting new wave of cooking breaking through, led by one of the city's most experimental young chefs.
Fred, we are going to a place which is super exciting. It is really shaking up the formal Viennese dining scene. But what's also great is it's a 2 Michelin-starred restaurant and does a fantastic deal for lunch.
Austrian Greek chef Constantin Philippou is an alchemist who mixes traditional Viennese flavors with light Mediterranean influences, creating exciting original dishes. And thanks to Rachel's top tip, we get to experience his food without spending a fortune.
Hallo.
Hallo? Wie geht's? Ja, sehr gut, auch. Dankeschön.
I didn't know you were so fluent.
Oh, yeah, well.
This is one of only 4 2 Michelin-starred restaurants in the city. But when you walk in, this stylish 35-seater still feels intimate and relaxed, full of that Viennese charm.
I tell you what, I really like the interior. I like the way it's done, you know, that darkness, the black. It's very elegant. There is an atmosphere.
Yes.
In some restaurant of this kind of caliber, you know, everybody's kind of whispering. Cheers, Rachel.
Zum Wohl.
How do you say again?
Zum Wohl. To your
Genau.
health.
Thank you very much. To yours.
So we're going to have the 3-course lunch menu.
Right.
It's at 47 euros, which I think is really good value.
Fantastic, good value.
A full 8-course tasting menu in the evening will set you back 185 euros per head. So this is a great way to taste this trailblazing chef's food at a fraction of the cost.
So this is not what you expect of Vienna. My mum's Austrian, so I have a real connection to traditional Austrian food. But here it's like you have these Austrian flavors, but then you have another twist to it, so it's unexpected. The younger generation are really trying like, okay, there's the old Viennese culture, but we want to do something vibrant. We want to change things. We want to push the boundaries.
I'm looking at the menu and I'm just thinking, what are they going to bring us here?
So if you look at the way the menu describes the dishes, red prawn, rice, duck, balsamic vinegar, tells you the ingredients, but it doesn't tell you, is it seared, is it poached? So you really don't know what to expect. It's really just teasing you.
Simply listing the ingredients rather than elaborately describing the food is a break with tradition and shows that here produce is king.
I don't know if you recognise a lot of the dishes. Yeah.
Well, I recognize, of course, salmon trout, but the one dish that I really recognize as being Austrian is a schnitzel.
Well, you're going to have that, aren't you?
I definitely want to have that.
I'll have the salmon.
But first, a complimentary amuse-bouche. Lightly poached egg yolk with grilled red prawn, duck jus and balsamic vinegar pearls, sprinkled with crispy wild rice.
Since we believe acidity is a key to a good dish, we will have a sip of vinegar to give it a little kick. Please enjoy.
Wow, vinegar. Thank you.
Have you had vinegar with your amuse-bouche?
I tend not to drink vinegar.
Okay.
I prefer champagne.
Wow! To me, vinegar is a salad dressing. I've never had it as an aperitif before. It feels like the chef is toying with our taste buds.
You can clearly smell it is vinegar.
But it's very sweet.
It is sweet. It doesn't taste like vinegar
No.
at all.
It's
It's like a liquor.
Yeah, like a dessert wine.
I can't believe, as a Frenchman, I am enjoying drinking a glass of vinegar.
If my mom saw me, she'd be horrified. Let's not tell her.
Guten Appetit.
Thank you, you too.
I love the delicacy to it.
What a combination of flavors. Very well balanced together. And what you get is you get that explosion, but it's a lovely kind of smooth surprise inside your mouth.
I think what they're trying to do here is to show that there is a way of tasting food which is unexpected.
Totally. There's lots of flavors here, lots of different influences. And as an amuse-bouche, this is luxurious and this is very tasty. I will remember that dish forever.
Next, steamed cockles in a rye bread broth surrounded by perfectly formed celeriac rolls.
Is this just an amuse-bouche?
It arrives at the table and you're like, oh, wow, what is this?
It's a work of art. I like celeriac. I love it. But as soon as you try the rest, that's it. I don't know where I am anymore. It's very good.
It's definitely that combination of fresh and earthiness.
You're speaking and I'm just eating, but
Yeah.
it's so delicious. I just couldn't help myself.
I mean, you almost started licking the bowl.
And I'm just wondering whether you're going to finish yours. Maybe I can.
I better watch out.
And the food keeps coming, with the start of our 3 courses. A creamy brandade of carp and potato finished with a decadent golden char caviar. Followed by Rachel's lightly grilled salmon trout in a saffron and shiso-infused sauce. And for me, a succulent mangalitza pork schnitzel served with tart marinated potatoes, anchovies and chives.
Look, again, they're going to do it again. Perfectly choreographed service. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
The service is so elegant. It's like a Viennese waltz, isn't it?
It's not just the service, it's also the attention to detail. Now, this feels more familiar. Schnitzel is kind of the epitome of Austrian cuisine.
Traditionally made of veal, something schnitzel was based on a similar Milanese cutlet from northern Italy, which was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire in the 19th century. But the Viennese have made it their own.
This is very nice. I really like that schnitzel. Is this the real McCoy?
My Austrian grandma would not approve.
Why not? Because it's pork.
It's pork. Usually schnitzel comes with cranberry sauce and then a cucumber salad, a potato salad, so there are lots and lots of things. So it's a kind of everyday kind of dish. It's a pub dish, like fish and chips.
Yeah.
So what they've done here is brought it up another level and really thought, how can we make the best schnitzel possible? And not necessarily with veal, with a local old breed of pig.
But this succulent pork tastes very special.
Mangalitza is kind of like the Kobe beef of pork. So it's really tasty, full of flavour, it's very juicy, it's not dry.
You know what? I've been looking at my last piece. I'm just savouring it right now, and I don't dare to eat it. Because once I've eaten it, that's it. I'm going to close my eyes.
That's your schnitzel virginity over.
Oh, my God. I want to do it again.
Our final course is a complete surprise.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, we got a golden apple.
Hidden inside is a crunchy chocolate casing and underneath, a cherry apple and ginger foam.
It's fantastic. It's not very often that you can surprise people, you can excite them about something that's new, that's different, that's vibrant. It's just so perfect.
The simple menu didn't prepare me for the sophisticated flavor combinations that every mouthful delivered. I'm very intrigued as to how the chef develops these intricate dishes.
It's Constantine is looking at me.
So far, we've only been able to glimpse into Constantine's world through the window. So I can't wait to get into the kitchen and find out what fuels this incredible creativity.
What a meal we had. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was divine. You know, you saw all these very simple ideas on the menu, and then when it came on the plate, it was like, wow.
When you speak about Viennese cuisine, it's a fusion cuisine from all over Europe. How we do it, most of the dishes have a lot of soul.
How long does it take to create some of the dishes you've got?
Sometimes it takes not so long, but we change the lunch menu every week.
So you change the lunch menu every week?
To invent an entirely new menu every week is very impressive. Most restaurants with Michelin stars only change menus seasonally, if at all.
I think when you do sometimes a dish too long,
people get bored.
Yeah, but also you make a lot of fails on it.
Right.
Because you're too sure about the dishes that you can do it. So it keeps us awake and keeps the creativity up. When you're too sure, I think it's gonna be too lazy, everything.
And Constantine likes to use one single ingredient or flavor to spark his ideas.
For example, we work very close with a fish guy from Croatia. So he called me today and say, Constantine, I think we're gonna have that, and then we start to think what we're gonna do for next week.
For Constantine, every ingredient is key. And in my eyes, he's transformed the humble schnitzel into a Michelin-starred dish. And he's agreed to let me in on his secret recipe. We start with a delicious mangalitza pork.
You need a perfect meat. So the schnitzel are very thin.
Right.
And with this quality, you don't have to make it too thin. In the old days, the quality of the meat was not that high. And also, most of the people may be afraid that maybe it's too medium in the middle.
Right.
But with this kind of meat, if you want, you can cook it also medium. Not a problem at all.
Right.
So there are different ways of doing a nice schnitzel. I prefer to put some sparkling water in the eggs. So the crust's gonna be more puffy.
Right.
And nice.
The carbon dioxide bubbles in the water expand when heated, making foods light and airy.
And it's very fluffy. Did you beat it quite a lot before?
Yes, because you need a lot of air inside.
Oh.
So we need a little bit more thinner.
Right.
So we take a plastic bag.
So why you use the plastic bag?
No, that the meat is not sticking on the cutting board. So just a little, not too much. A little bit of salt.
Little salt, okay. So first, flour.
Flour. You need flour for the egg and the bread.
With the sparkling water. Yeah, I can see the bubble. So you make sure it's evenly spread on all the schnitzel.
And also very important is fat-wise. Don't use a normal fat. So you use pork fat.
So what, is this pork fat?
Yeah, it's pork fat. So it's much more intense.
So is
much
it
more flavor, and from the mangalitza pig, it's amazing.
So this is the mangalitza pig fat?
Yes.
Oh my God. We're not using butter, we're not using oil, we are using pure mangalitza pig fat. I mean, how decadent is that?
So, let's start.
Woo!
Yeah.
Here we go. Wow. I'm salivating, and I love the way the color is coming on the chop. We are witnessing the birth of the most delicious mangalitza schnitzel.
This is, I think, the best pork that you can use for a schnitzel because the fat is so nice and the quality of the meat is over the top.
But it's the unexpected flavor combinations in his food that make his dishes really stand out.
So you're plating up the schnitzel.
Yes.
Well, for me, it's quite Viennese, these toppings, isn't it?
True, yeah. Anchovies, pickled potatoes, capers, chives, and a herb like aioli. So we do a little bit of modern version of it.
And he's added a unique flavor with vinegar made of asparagus.
I love the fact that this is your spin, isn't it? So did you try lots of different types of vinegars before you decided to use the asparagus vinegar?
Yeah, we do that with every product that we use for a dish. Sometimes you have something in your mind, but then it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's a careful balance, isn't it?
It looks a little bit like Austria, right?
Oh, actually, yes. Was that intended?
No.
Do all your schnitzels come out the shape of Austria?
No. Maybe a deconstructed schnitzel, but now it has to taste also very good, right?
You've got to tick all these different boxes.
Should we try it?
Well, you don't need to ask twice.
Guten Appetit.
Guten Appetit. You can definitely taste the vinegar and the potatoes, and it really lifts the dish. It all works together. Each element, it's there for a reason.
Thank you.
Constantine's deconstructed schnitzel highlights his attention to detail when choosing every single ingredient. But for me, the star of the show has to be that delicious mangalitza pork. So what is it about this pig that makes the meat so special? I've traveled an hour north of Vienna to a farm that specializes in this ancient breed, and I've hitched a ride with Christoph Wiesner, a farmer championing the mangalitza.
Wow, what skill! Here we go, we're off to feed the pigs.
The Austrians eat more pork per capita than any other state in the EU. But these guys aren't your ordinary pigs. They don't even look like pigs. Their curly coats make them more like sheep or maybe pigs in wigs.
Right. So where do they come from originally, these pigs?
It's an old monarchy breed.
Yeah.
So Hungary, Serbia, Balkan, Romania.
And they're very furry.
It's the reason why they are nice for freeland keeping.
So why did you fall in love with them?
It's a fat breed. There are not a lot of pigs that have this nice fat like mangalitza.
The breed was popular in the 19th century, coveted for their high fat content and reserved for Austrian royalty. But as taste moved towards leaner meat, it faced extinction. With fewer than 150 sows worldwide back in 1993, breeders like Christoph have brought them back in favor, and chefs like Konstantin are rediscovering them.
How long have you been breeding them for?
We are breeding them since '97.
So how did you start breeding them?
It was a present for our marriage.
Right. When you got married?
Yeah, married.
You got a pig as a present?
2. That was the beginning.
20 years on, and Christoph is one of the world's foremost authorities on mangalitza pigs.
So what do you feed these pigs beside potatoes?
Try to feed high in carbs,
Yeah.
because you can produce really nice and healthy fat.
Right.
The important stuff is to feed good fat.
Right.
Meat comes with the time, so we feed really slow. We don't have a lot of protein in the mixture.
Christoph's pigs roam freely and live until around 2 years old, unlike most commercially farmed pigs who live only around 6 months.
No wonder these beautiful pigs taste so good, because they are living happily here. They are fed slowly, they grow slowly, and they are a world apart from this pork that you buy from the supermarket.
And when you come to butcher the meat, you can see the difference straight away.
I mean, I have never seen a pig as fat as this before. And this is beyond marbling, isn't it? This is just covered in fat. So we're going to start to butcher it?
Yes.
That's why you're so strong.
Why I'm
You
so
see the
strong?
difference?
Because I eat so much protein.
Ah, do you?
Yeah, no carbs.
Okay.
Because I know what you can make with carbs, fat. And now you have the piece.
Oh, wow. And that's the cut I had when I had my very first mangalitza schnitzel at Konstantin. Look at that.
It's no wonder that Christoph's exceptional pork results in a dish as memorable as that schnitzel. But Konstantin's pursuit of perfection extends to every ingredient. He believes the right vinegar has the power to transform any dish. Back in the city, he's taking Rachel to meet Erwin Gegenbauer, otherwise known as the Vinegar Pope.
What a pleasure to see you.
Due to long winters, pickling, used for food like sauerkraut and gherkins, is part of Austrian culture. Vinegar has been a staple ingredient here for generations, and the acidity can help emphasize flavors in a dish.
Here you see some fruit vinegars.
Yeah.
Made out of the fruit. Then we have got some wine vinegars.
Look at this.
Erwin produces 70 different vinegars in his cellar, but is known for his unusual fruit varieties, from raspberry to apricots, fig, and even bananas. He puts the same effort into his vinegar that a winemaker would into wine, and supplies top chefs around the world.
This one is maturing for 7 years at least. It's made from a sweet wine. Under your tongue, you will get only 1 drop. It's enough because it's expensive. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
And nothing is added. How do you like it?
It's very rich, and there's
Yeah.
that sweetness. It's really unexpected sweetness.
Amazing.
Mm.
I already have so many ideas in my head.
Oh, that's good.
A 250 milliliter premium bottle can cost up to £70, but this is a time-consuming operation.
What's the process in terms of when you make vinegar?
We have the process, the transformation from sugar into alcohol, where we have the transformation from alcohol into acetic acidity. We have 2 fermentations, and this makes the definition of vinegar.
And how long would that normally take, a standard vinegar?
Vinegar of supermarket, it's maybe 2 or 3 weeks old, but the vinegar has to mature. And then you are getting the harmony. And after years and years, a sharp acidity is not so strong that it's like old wine. But old wine has a peak, and then the quality goes down. But vinegar is getting better and better the older it becomes.
Some of his finest vinegars have been maturing for 12 years.
You've got to be really patient, not like, oh, I want to have a try, or...
It's like a kid, you know. You see, they are growing.
For me, I always think, oh, salad dressing. But after eating at your restaurant, I'm thinking, oh, wow, you could actually use these types of vinegars for so many more things.
My profession is to produce vinegars. It's the craftsmanship. And he's the creative.
Think out the box, basically.
Yeah.
Constantine's creativity never stops. Inspired by great ingredients, he is tirelessly inventing new dishes and surprising flavor combinations. Back in the kitchen, he has one more secret weapon when it comes to keeping the menu fresh.
How do you come up with these amazing dishes? What is the secret?
Secret? My chefs. They're so good and they bring all the ideas to me every day. Everyone is involved in the production. I think it's a natural thing from our cuisine. My chefs want that, and I really like that we move forward. And sometimes we create like dishes there first on the lunch menu and then come on the bigger menu later on. So I think when you're always in a process of creativity, it comes something big out.
I have never known a kitchen to operate like this. Most young chefs in top restaurants can only dream of getting one of their dishes on the menu. But here, chefs like Christian are a crucial part of the recipe development.
Was machst du?
I'm trying out a new sauce for our langoustine.
So Christian, is this your idea, this dish? How long have you been working on that dish for?
Now I think it's 2 weeks. Around 2 weeks.
This all smells really delicious. What are you making?
Right now we are gonna do the strawberry vinegar ice cream. We have this very fresh and rich vinegar.
Okay.
It comes right from our region. Having strawberries, well, balsamico vinegar is kind of an old story.
So strawberries and balsamic vinegar is kind of classic, and this is like a raspberry fruit vinegar. Oh, wow. Okay.
This is gonna be a new tryout. We thought about this quite some time.
But the dishes will only make it onto the menu if they meet Constantine's exacting standards.
Is it a lot of pressure when he's watching you?
Yeah, maybe.
I can see you sweat a little bit.
Yeah, always.
So sauce first?
Sauce first.
Always.
Okay.
So also here is very important, you know, you have to cut the chives very perfectly.
Yeah, I was looking at them and I have to say, I'm very impressed with this.
You know, when you work simple and not put too much things on the plate, every detail have to be perfect. It's amazing, huh?
It does.
Let's try it out.
I can't wait.
The only thing, I think it's just put a little bit of lemon, but I think salty enough.
So are you happy, Constantine?
Yeah, I'm very happy.
I've had a lot of different langoustine, but cooked like that, I will remember the langoustine for a long time.
When somebody said, okay, it's not good enough now, you have to try again.
Could be very expensive because a langoustine this size is very expensive. Yeah. So if you do it 10 times, you know, it's 10 langoustines that you have to buy.
Creativity first.
Rachel, I found this experience so mind-blowing, so inspirational. Everything was so delicate, so elegant. There was so much precision.
The dishes themselves were works of art, and that's partly because they source the best ingredients. That combination, creativity and innovation, but also passion to make something beautiful and amazing.
I had no idea about Austrian food. To find somebody who elevates the cuisine here to such a delicious art form, in fact, I am so excited.
Well, that makes me so happy.
I love how Constantine's modern take on Austrian cuisine offers an exciting alternative to the city's more traditional venues. But there is still one more experience that Rachel wants me to try. It's street culture Viennese style, and the setting is just as important as the food.
As you can see, the Viennese do everything in style, and that also goes for their fast food.
Right.
So I'm taking you to a hot dog stand. They're dotted all over the city.
These sausage stands, or Würstelstands, were originally created to provide jobs for disabled veterans after World War I, and have been a huge part of local food culture ever since. There are stands all over the city, but this is Rachel's favorite.
I love a hot dog.
Is there nothing you don't like?
I love food. As long as it's well done and it's prepared with love, with beautiful ingredients, I mean,
Well, this one, look at the setting. You're right next to the Albertina Museum, the Viennese Opera House. It couldn't be more beautiful.
We are right in the middle of the heart of Vienna.
Vienna comes alive at night time. The way it's lit up has this romantic, magical feel.
And you know what? I've got the soundtrack of Strauss, The Blue Danube, in my head.
Well, you're right next to the Opera House.
Would you waltz with me?
Oh, God, here we go. You're not bad, actually.
For the Viennese, a visit to a sausage stand after a night out is practically obligatory. With its stunning location and reputation for quality produce, Betzinger enjoys cult status with the locals. They open all year round from 8 a.m. to 4 a.m. to satisfy the insatiable demand for their sausages.
Here we have quite a few different types. You have like a classic, what you would call Frankfurter, but they call it a Wiener here.
All right.
So the long sausages, those hot dog sausages.
Right.
But then you also have a Käsekreiner, which is a sausage which has cheese in it. And I think we should try one.
Okay, let's go. They've got champagne.
I know. Would you like some champagne with your hot dog?
Always. I always have champagne with my hot dog.
Und dann immer 2 kleine Flaschen Champagner noch.
2 kleine Champagner mit 2 Gläser und 2 Käsekreiner.
Rachel, I can't believe they sell champagne as well as hot dogs here.
Well, look, I don't take you to any old place. It is the most elegant way to eat a hot dog in Vienna.
You know how to make me happy.
Danke.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, you can't beat champagne.
Traditional sausages infused with melted cheese, served with rye bread, gherkins, ketchup and mustard.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, the great thing about coming here is these 2 sausages were less than 10 euros. I mean, I know that the champagne was a bit of a blowout, but look, you deserve it. These sausages are delicious, but with the cheese in the middle, it just adds a depth of flavor and richness.
Makes it that extra special. I love this combination of sausage, and it's something you only ever find in Austria.
You're eating it fast.
I know, I'm hungry. I love a Käsekreiner. I'd have 2, please.
Look at that bread also. I mean, this is rye bread.
So that's a schwarze Brot, and that's like the dark kind of, rustic bread. And if you're local, you don't have it in a bun. You'd have it with the schwarze Brot.
This is such a special bread, and to have it here in the hot dog stand, having these beautiful sausages with this gherkin, this French mustard, delicious champagne, in such a setting, I mean, this is the life.
It is.
I'm in heaven.
I've completely fallen in love with this elegant city, and the exceptional food here has been a real revelation.
What a beautiful city. Rachel, I've had such a great week. For me, the food culture here was an unknown, but all the people that we've met, from Konstantin to Steffi, even the hot dog stand, has been fantastic.
That is music to my ears. It's not just cake and culture. There is a huge history of amazing food here, but also a dynamic young food scene. And that combination of all these different things makes Vienna magical.
They are doing everything to such a high standard. That has just blown away my expectations totally.
In a city so well known for its art and culture, it's easy to see why the cuisine might be overlooked. But experiencing these restaurants and seeing their dedication to celebrating their history and traditions, their commitment to warm hospitality, and their desire to push the boundaries of creativity has shown me there is a vibrant food scene here worthy of a place on the international food map.
Have you enjoyed yourself, Fred?
Oh my God, thank you very much. I had so much fun.